On October 30th, 2011, in the quiet town of Dyersburg, Tennessee, Karen SwifT, a loving mother of four, vanished under mysterious circumstances. Just hours before her disappearance, she had tucked her 9-year-old daughter, Ashley, into bed after a Halloween party. By sunrise, Karen's white 2004 Nissan Murano was discovered abandoned along Millsfield Highway. The car had a flat tire, but there were no immediate signs of violence. Despite forensic investigations yielding no conclusive evidence, the seemingly normal family life Karen had maintained began unraveling, and the cracks in her marriage to David SwifT revealed a chilling side to this story. 3 weeks prior to her disappearance, Karen had filed for divorce from David SwifT, her husband of many years. The SwifTs' marriage had been anything but smooth sailing, marred by infidelity, control issues, and emotional distance. Despite the divorce filing, the couple continued to share their home for the sake of their children. David, recovering from knee surgery and reliant on crutches, presented an unusual portrait of a suspect, yet his questionable behavior soon drew scrutiny. David painted a picture of Karen as a woman spiraling out of control, taking up heavy drinking and distancing herself from the family. He recounted odd incidents, such as finding her in compromising situations, like being naked in bed with a close friend, Kathy Bona. From David's perspective, her erratic behavior and secretive life were reasons to believe she had simply left on her own. But for investigators, his portrayal felt forced, as though he were trying to distract from his own involvement. As detectives peeled back the layers of Karen's life, they uncovered a version of her that was complex, emotional, and perhaps searching for freedom. Among their findings was a second phone she had been operating in secret. The device, provided by the Bona family, exposed Karen's communications with a divorce attorney and hinted at gatherings David felt were inappropriate. Karen's efforts to hide this device and what communication it contained indicated she was navigating troubled waters behind closed doors. Suspiciously, this phone was found discarded in the woods near the SwifT home, its last activity logged hours after Karen was reported missing. It was a breadcrumb trail to an unseen mystery. What happened to Karen during the final hours of her life? The timeline provided a haunting glimpse of the probable events. Around 2 a.m., Karen's primary phone last pinged on a cell tower near her home. Her second phone, curiously, was checked at 9:55 a.m. the next morning, yet by then, she had seemingly vanished. The discovery of her abandoned car led investigators to find pieces of Karen's clothing scattered along the roadside. Adding to the eerie nature of the case was the lack of visible struggles in and around the vehicle. The flat tire created a veil of normalcy around her disappearance, leaving many to wonder whether foul play had indeed occurred, or if Karen had willingly walked away into the unknown. Increasingly, a divide emerged. Was her abandonment calculated, or was it an attempt at escape tragically interrupted? The search for Karen culminated in tragedy weeks later. On December 10, 2011, her remains were located in a local cemetery, less than 3 miles from her home. The scene was macabre. Evidence suggested she had been dragged to her resting spot, implying she had died elsewhere. Blunt force trauma to her skull provided some answers but further muddied the waters. Who could have committed this act, and why? If Karen had been struck down, what was the motive? And why move the body to such a haunting, sacrilegious location? The autopsy confirmed Karen had suffered a violent death, but could not determine the precise cause due to decomposition. Her tragic end transformed the missing persons case into a full-fledged homicide investigation. Investigators turned their gaze toward David SwifT. Despite his alibi of physical limitations stemming from knee surgery, cracks emerged in his story, feeding suspicions. David's control over Karen in life was well documented, from accusations of monitoring her movements to escalating altercations at social gatherings. His overreach seemed indicative of possessive anger. For instance, crashing social events where Karen attempted to distance herself, such as Kathy Bona's birthday party, where she was found intoxicated and unconscious in troubling circumstances, painted a picture of obsession rather than concern. David's odd behaviors and statements about the car further strained his credibility. Investigators noted the seat position in Karen's abandoned Nissan Murano had been adjusted far enough back to accommodate someone of his much larger stature, despite his immobility during this period. Seemingly minor details added layers of suspicion, as David's narrative revealed inconsistencies. If he wasn't physically fit to act independently, who helped, or was his injury exaggerated? The homicide of Karen SwifT remains unsolved, with David SwifT still under the microscope of public suspicion. Yet no direct evidence ties him conclusively to the crime. Forensic analysis of their home and vehicle yielded no bloodstains or signs of struggle. David, for all his peculiarities and shifting demeanor, insists on his innocence, even suggesting alternate suspects, such as those in Karen's circle of friends. However, many of his actions appeared calculated and manipulative, whether consciously or unconsciously shifting blame. The deceased woman's second phone, her secret means of communication, remains a symbolic artifact of her attempt to regain control over her life. That, combined with the foreboding signs that something sinister led her to that cemetery less than 3 miles away, keeps investigators returning to the chilling question: who silenced Karen SwifT, and how far had they gone to cover their tracks? For true crime enthusiasts, the mystery surrounding Karen SwifT leads to an open question about systemic investigation failures, domestic dynamics, and concealed motives. Was Karen's death the ultimate violent manifestation of an unraveling marriage, or are there conspiracy theories left unexplored? The Karen SwifT story is a disturbing reminder of the human stories buried beneath crime headlines, of manipulation, secrecy, and fleeing toward freedom. Yet, as those following every development know, without conclusive forensic findings or adequately interrogated suspects, justice for Karen remains elusive. Until that day comes, the scales linger uneven, weighed down by unanswered questions, fit for the sharp analysis only a criminal enthusiast can dissect piece by piece. The case of Karen SwifT's mysterious death took a sinister turn as investigators unraveled a tangled web of peculiarities and chilling coincidences. Among the twists, the poisoning of a neighborhood dog near the time of the SwifT family's dog's disappearance hinted at a disturbing connection. Then there was Dustin, Karen's son, who recounted an unsettling encounter with a mysterious man wielding a metal detector near the cemetery. The man's odd claim of searching for his wife while already wearing a watch added another layer of intrigue. Together, these events painted an eerie backdrop to Karen's tragic demise, deepening the enigma around her case. As the investigation pressed on, unsettling oddities began surfacing. Suspicion soon fell on David SwifT, Karen's husband, who was alleged to have tampered with her car and cell phone in an effort to mislead investigators. In a dramatic twist, David was arrested over a decade after Karen's death in July 2023 and extradited to Tennessee. Although the charges of first-degree murder brought against him were severe, they rested primarily on circumstantial evidence. Investigators theorized that David, angered by Karen's intent to divorce, meticulously planned and executed the crime to evade suspicion. Prosecutors pieced together a chilling narrative. Karen was possibly attacked in her sleep, strangled, and her body transported to the cemetery. They suggested David had faked an injury to his knee as an alibi and staged scenes to make it appear Karen had vanished willingly. Yet, these theories lacked definitive proof. No weapon, no blood in the alleged crime scene, and no eyewitnesses to confirm the details. This forensic void left the investigation shrouded in uncertainty. David SwifT's trial became a battlefield of circumstantial evidence versus compelling doubt. The defense tore into the prosecution's case, spotlighting the glaring lack of physical evidence. No blood traces were found in the garage, and no murder weapon was ever identified. They contended that David, suffering from a severe knee injury, could not have physically carried out such a crime. Another sticking point was the absence of any signs of a struggle in the suspected location of Karen's murder. To complicate matters, David's daughter, Ashley, testified that it was her mother, not her father, who had moved her during the fateful night. These statements raised significant doubts about the prosecution's reconstruction, fracturing their narrative. However, David's credibility was marred by his own repeated lies. Investigators discovered he had withheld information about Karen's second phone and had given inconsistent accounts of his actions on the night she vanished. Adding to the suspicion were his questionable activities on online dating sites shortly after Karen's disappearance, an aspect that seemed callous, if not incriminating. Despite these red flags, the case remained inherently circumstantial. The jury struggled to reconcile the suspicious trail of lies with the absence of concrete forensic proof. After weeks of deliberation, David was found not guilty of first-degree and second-degree murder, and even attempted murder. Yet the charge of involuntary manslaughter left the jury deadlocked, casting an unresolved shadow over the case. For legal analysts, the SwifT case is a glaring example of how crucial forensic evidence is in establishing guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. The prosecution might have woven a strong narrative, but the lack of DNA prototypes, fingerprints, and blood traces weakened their case. Despite advanced crime labs, the failure to tie David to the crime scene or Karen's death with physical evidence highlighted gaps that ultimately turned the trial's tide. This forensic void leaves open an important legal question. Could advancements in forensic techniques or overlooked evidence hold the key to unlocking the truth? The trial did not unfold in isolation. It operated under a cloud of political pressure. The prosecution found themselves accused of pursuing this high-profile case not purely for justice, but to satisfy public demand for resolution. The defense alleged a political witch hunt, where law enforcement and prosecution forces, eager to close the book, ignored the gaps in evidence. Legal analysts watching the case criticized this pressure, emphasizing how it can compromise justice by influencing investigatory and prosecutorial integrity. In this situation, the legal system's mechanisms to safeguard defendants against wrongful conviction were both lauded and questioned. Was the pursuit of David SwifT driven by a genuine belief in his guilt, or the unbearable weight of public scrutiny? In 2024, the prosecution made the controversial decision to pursue a second trial. With the charge of involuntary manslaughter unresolved, the case is once again under the court's microscope. Karen SwifT's family remains fervent in their quest for justice, determined that the truth will one day emerge. The ongoing legal battle underscores the enduring tension between justice and the limitations of criminal investigation. This new trial offers an opportunity for legal analysts and forensic experts alike to study the implications of building a case without solid physical evidence. Each argument, each piece of testimony, is an invaluable puzzle for those fascinated by the intricate balance between law, science, and human fallibility. The Karen SwifT case goes far beyond the tragic loss of a life. It stands as a haunting example of the complexities involved in criminal trials where circumstantial evidence takes center stage. Forensic scientists, legal analysts, and the public are left wrestling with lingering questions that only further investigation can answer. As Karen's family awaits closure, the world watches with rapt attention. Will the second trial bring long-awaited justice? Or will the mystery remain, a somber reminder of the limits of our legal and forensic systems? Whatever the outcome, the Karen SwifT case reaffirms the unyielding importance of truth in the pursuit of justice. Thank you for diving into this fascinating yet haunting story. Subscribe and stay tuned for more forensic unravelings of the most perplexing criminal cases. See you soon.